Biography of our next Hall of Honor inductee, Coach Eddy Peach.
Eddy Peach coached at Arlington Lamar for 39 seasons, from the day the school opened in 1970 to his retirement in 2010. And he is the first coach in Texas history to win 300 games at the state's highest level. His 310, 123, and 6 record puts him 10th on the Texas all-time wins list. Coach Peach's teams won 16 district titles in 39 years and went 13 seasons from 1988 through 2000 without missing the playoffs. He coached Lamar to the 5A Division II state championship game in 1990 and to the state semifinals in 2000 and 2003. In his 39 seasons at Lamar, his teams only had 4 losing seasons. As an All-American baseball player at Oklahoma, Peach got his first varsity coaching job in 1965 as Arlington High School's head baseball coach, where he amassed a 111-34 record before becoming the head football coach at Lamar in 1971. Honors include the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame's class of 2017, the National Football Foundation Legends Award in 2016, the Fort Worth Officials Association Lifetime Achievement Award in 2010, the THSCA North All-Star Coach in 1996, and Coach of the Decade from 1970 to 1980. The Arlington ISD honored the Peach family when they opened Eddy and Debbie Peach Elementary School in 2016. Eddy and his wife, Debbie, have 2 sons. Scott is currently the head football coach and athletic coordinator at Arlington High School. His wife, Kim, is assistant athletic director for the AISD, and they have 2 children, Campbell and Cooper. Sean is the head football coach and athletic director at Moody High School. His wife, Brianna, is a science teacher at Hewitt Midway Middle School.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Eddy Peach.
I'm short. I believe that coaching is the greatest profession there is. I believe it is an honor to be a coach, and I believe it is an honor to be called coach. I believe that other than family and faith, coaches have more impact on young people's lives than anyone else. To our great leaders, Coach Rutledge and Coach Martin, and to our selection committee, thank you for my day of induction into the Hall of Honor. I was going to recognize my family at this time, but the film already did a great job. I'm proud of my family and what they do and what they accomplish. I was a guy from Oklahoma, born and raised in Oklahoma. Played baseball at the University of Oklahoma, graduated from Oklahoma, and wanted to become a coach. My best friend in high school, parents knew the Workmans. Coach Workman was the athletic director of the Arlington Independent School District. I went and interviewed with Coach Workman. He convinced me that I need to come to Arlington, Texas and coach. I started out as an 8th grade coach in the Arlington system. The next year I moved to Arlington High School as the head baseball coach, JV head football coach, and strangely, I was in charge of scouting. Never scouted a game in my life. John Riddell was the head football coach, and he was a tremendous football coach. But why he put me in scouting, I will never know. Anyway, the second game of the year, I did all right. The other coach that went with me to scout was a guy that they kept over. He was a track coach that really liked track but didn't care much about football, but he had a couple of years before he retired, so they kept him on. First ball game did fine. Second ball game, we went over to Haltom High School to scout Haltom. In the first ball game, he helped me by calling out the numbers of the different skill teams and things like that. And I thought I was doing fine. He said, well, I'll drive. So we got over there to scout the ball game. And about 2 or 3 minutes in the ball game, he said, I'll go exchange the films. And I said, okay. So I didn't see him, and I kind of looked for him, and I couldn't find him and everything else. And about 3 minutes left going the ball game, he showed back up. And he said, let's go. We need to get back. So when we got back over there, Coach Riddell was waiting on us. And he said, where's the films? And the other coach said, Coach Peach is in charge of scouting. Coach Riddell turned to me and he said, "Where's the films?" And he said, "You don't have to answer." He said, "I know. The whole Haltom coach has them because we left them in the press box." And he said, he got them out of the press box and he's got his. And I suggest you, and I will use the word tail in. It was a little bit different than that. You get your tail in over at Haltom and find those films and get those films. And I said, "Yes, sir." I was 22 years old and didn't know the difference. 2 weeks later, we're supposed to go to Wichita Falls and scout. And so we was going to go home and change clothes and all. And this other coach called me just before I left. And he said, "I'm sick. I don't think I can go." And I said, "Okay." So I take off to go to Wichita Falls. And I like to get there early so I can draw up the formations and everything else. And I started to draw up the formations, and I couldn't find the quarterback. Now, this is a true story. I couldn't find the quarterback. And I grew up in the state of Oklahoma under Bud Wilkes's era where you run the split tee or the wing tee. And come to Texas, and everybody's running the wishbone. And so I go out there, and they've got no one under center and warming up. They're snapping the ball, and they're reversing, and they're turning, and everything else. And I said, "Oh, my gosh, I'm in trouble." So I promise you the first 15 or 20 plays, I had no idea what was going on. And it didn't get much better than later on. So I go back to Arlington, and you can imagine what that scouting report looked like. The next morning, Coach Riddell, I was going to try to beat him there, but he was there. And he said, "I know what's going on. I'll take care of it." He said, "You do not ever let this happen again. You understand? But that's called the single wing." And I said, "Yes, sir, I understand." After that, everything went well. When I was hired and Coach Wartman hired me, after that, the next 4 years went really well. Our varsity football team did well. Our JV football team did well. My baseball team did well. We went to state tournament. We went to the regional finals and all. And then 4 years later, I'm on the baseball field closing out a baseball practice, and Mr. Curley comes walking out of the building down to the field. And Mr. Curley was a vice principal at Arlington High, and he had just been named the principal at Lamar High School, and Lamar was going to open this next year. And he said, "Coach Workman needs to see you in his office immediately." And I said, "Am I in trouble?" Kind of laughed, and he said, "Might be." And he said, "He needs to see you as soon as he possibly can." I said, "Okay." So I'm hot and sweaty, and I'm in clothes and just finished practices, and I go out there and sit in his office, and he said, "Boy, your baseball team's good and everything else." He said, "Do you want to be the head football coach at Lamar High School, or do you want to be the head baseball coach at UTA?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, it's really pretty simple." He said, "If you want to be the head football coach at Lamar High School, we're going to go down to the superintendent's office, and he's waiting on you. If you want to be the head baseball coach, Coach Gilstrap at UTA is waiting on you up there, and all you have to do is make a decision." And I said, "How long do I have before I can make this decision?" And he said, "Well, you're not married, so I know you don't have to ask anybody." And he said, "You know, I'll tell you how long you have. Mr. Martin, the superintendent, and myself, and Coach Gilstrap, we have called our wives, and we're going to be home for supper. And we're getting old, and so supper's pretty early. So I really think you need to make a decision." So I said, "Fine." I said, "I want the head football job at Lamar High School." And he said, "That's great." He said, we were worried. "Do you make another decision?" "That's great." No. Bottom line is I had a high school principal that was going to be a first-year principal and an athletic director that completely changed my life. For the next 40 years, I had the honor and privilege of being the head football coach at Lamar High School. And during that period of time, I really felt like that no one anywhere had a better job than I did. And now then, I get to stand here, and I've been inducted in the Texas State High School Coaches Organization Hall of Honor. It doesn't get any better than this. Thank you so much.